Cryptocurrency has and is making a lot of impact in the world of finance and could further create a firm foundation in economics. Cryptocurrency has been mirrored by governments as stable coins and furthermore central bank digital currencies. This is getting more adoption across the globe. Bitcoin, the world's biggest cryptocurrency, hit a record high of $66,000 last month after taking another step towards mainstream status. Similarly, Ethereum, the second biggest cryptocurrency by market value, hit a record high of $4,768. And another landmark event, Bitcoin features exchange-traded fund called ETF, a type of financial instrument which was launched in October on the New York Stock Exchange. Some investors see cryptocurrencies as a hedge against inflation, which is surging worldwide as economies reopen after pandemic lockdowns. The climax of these is the surge recorded in the market value. It reached not one, not two, but $3 trillion for the first time. Is this a fluke? Were fraudulent schemes involved? Could cryptos truly be worth that much? Stay with us as we are set to find out the true nature of crypto. I am Lekon Obanjo, filling in for Tolulokpe Adeleru Balogun. You're welcome. This is Business Edge. You're on to Business Edge on News Central, and joining me is Ola Atose, who is the founder and CEO KoinKoin. Thank you so much, Ola, for joining us on the program.
Indeed, it's very good to be with you.
All right, let's get right into it. Now, the world cryptocurrency market value is said to have hit above $3 trillion. Even mainstream investors are now coming on board. But the question we would like to ask you is this something that we should revel about? Are you saying that cryptocurrency has now come to stay?
Yes, I mean, from what we can see, we're seeing a lot more institutional investors. There was a lot of debate a few months ago as investors by institutional, largely the hedge funds and some pensions. Are now piling in money into cryptocurrency, and I think this is added to this 3 trillion market cap that we now see. I think as of this morning we're down to 2.86, but that's just splitting hairs again. We think at this point, crypto is here to stay.
Now, Ola, do you see cryptocurrency gaining widespread acceptance? Do you also see it becoming an inclusive mode when it comes to the apex banks of different countries trying to include this now into, incorporate it into the legal tender that can be used for transactions? Do you see all that?
I think time to go before that becomes, before that becomes a reality. There are a number of reasons for that. Have described cryptocurrency as bringing a parallel economy, if you like, to their local economies. In some part, they drafted some sort of regulation on how to control and limit access of their local currency to cryptocurrency. In other parts of the world, it's been banned or restricted outright. So I think for the time being, from how I see it, there is a battle coming on whereby the old way or the old guard of fiat money will still be, and will still play a big part in what's to come in the years to come, of course, and crypto-less nature, is obviously feel that it gives certainly the citizens of the world more access to each other without the restriction of foreign exchange. So the technology, the blockchain technology underlying cryptocurrency has made that happen. I think the future is certainly bright, and there are a lot more opportunities to come. So I think watch this space.
All right, now many people are actually still skeptical about cryptocurrency, basically because of its volatility. It is volatile in nature, as some people have said it. But then, is that something that we should worry about? They've said that cryptocurrency is something that hangs in the limbo, and it could just come and go as it were, and it's not something that people should really rely on. Why is it that it looks as though it is volatile and people can actually entrust their fund into it?
Well, you're right. There is a level of volatility. But if we look at what happened in 2017, what happened in 2013, and what we call these bull cycles and what happened previously, it's slightly different from what we're seeing now. We are seeing a level of maturity in things like Bitcoin, for example. And of course, Bitcoin has a market cap of 1.2 trillion and still makes up, up to 40% of all cryptocurrency currently. And there is a view, given the different investors and the different types of investors that we're seeing in that market, that it's coming to its maturity. So yes, there is still some volatility. There is, prices, of course, but what I feel is happening is in any good portfolio, a minimal amount of money invested in cryptocurrency. So most, experts that, their portfolio has at least 1% of their portfolio is in some form of cryptocurrency. So from a sort of investment, what we're of interest in investing, but careful investing in cryptocurrencies. A small part of people's portfolio is going to crypto. The retail sector, perhaps more excited about crypto, are doing a whole lot more. And in recent times, the stimulation world, a lot of that money has been piled into crypto. So that's perhaps why we're seeing all this. But as time goes on, a lot of the cryptos have with real life impact, and a lot of investors are actually seeing value in these cryptos, again, with real life impact. We look at Ethereum to cryptos is on the line. Some of these cryptos are actually quite beneficial, and people see that as somewhere to invest. Just that, there are other areas, of course. There's a metaverse, a number of different projects in that regard, which are looking quite bright, getting a lot of attention right now. And that's actually spurring on, the marketplace to invest more.
All right, thank you so much, Ola. We get to come back to you in a while. Just stay with us in a bit. Well, that's some sort of excitement coming from Ola there, saying that investors are trying to come into the world of cryptocurrency. There's a lot of benefits, as it were, to derive from that. But then if you don't know total institutional flows for Bitcoin, which continues to lead the way, that is, with its year-to-date inflows is about $6.37 billion. Now, Ethereum also is said to be around $1.05 billion, with other digital assets like Solana, Cardano, Polkadot, seeing inflows totaling $50 million, $5 million, $6.2 million. But then we begin to ask the question, can we now safely say that crypto is gradually becoming the currency for the future? Well, we got to figure that out after this short break. Do stay with us. It is Business Edge. And still with me on the show is Ola Atose, who is the founder and CEO of KoinKoin. And we've been talking about how cryptocurrency and the market value has hit about the $3 trillion mark. Now, Ola Atose, it's quite interesting, the fact that you are also a player within that digital space. And during my introduction, I talked about the fact that Bitcoin features exchange-traded fund, which was launched back in October on the New York Stock Exchange. The question is, how does this actually work? How do you think this pans out when it comes to the ETF coming into play? Now, considering cryptos also, that there are a few for now, could this truly enable more everyday people to have access to Bitcoin?
Yes, of course. So with the ETF, which was approved by That also brings in a lot more, investors into the space. So not just, individual investors. We have funds which are backed by banks, and banks which have a lot of, money or assets under their control, which can now go into, this Bitcoin ETF. So one of the things I think we're going to in the coming months, of course, is potentially a further rise in the Bitcoin price, as people see it as a limited asset. So one of the things that we're expecting is there'll be more pressure, perhaps more volatility, but pressure to the upside on the value of Bitcoin. And that's why we've seen perhaps over the last month this rise from sort of 50s, 58, $59,000 value Bitcoin all the way to where we got to yesterday, which was an all-time high of just under. A lot of that is being driven by the exchange traded fund, which was approved by the SEC in the States a while back, and we expect to see more ETFs approved for Bitcoin, perhaps and even Ethereum maybe in the coming months.
Now, looking at the funds being plugged into cryptocurrency, do you see it being replicated on maybe the London or even the Nigerian Stock Exchange?
Well, I think London is perhaps a little bit behind, the curve. I can't say for sure, of course, but the general view of the regulator in the United Kingdom is, cryptocurrency poses a lot of risks. And they're not perhaps they're not willing to be as experimental as the SEC as far as cryptocurrencies, are concerned. There's a lot of limitations by the local banks in the United Kingdom. When it comes to cryptocurrency, we are seeing a similar situation with Nigeria, where bank accounts are getting closed out here in the United Kingdom, where said bank accounts have been dealing in cryptocurrency. So it's not just Nigeria that has this issue. And again, a lot of other jurisdictions are preventing, or making it difficult, if you like, for the retail market to invest in crypto. We're seeing a lot more of this, in different parts of the world. And of course, it's only natural to have some resistance to an entire, new asset or a new economy, if you like. But as time goes on, with the interest, with this new market cap, and with the continued interest and more money pouring into this space, I would like to think we'll see more regulation in the short term, and perhaps an easing of restriction on crypto by the different parts of the world that are restricting it right now.
All right. Well, there's no doubt that cryptocurrency has gone global. But then one other issue that people usually talk about is the issue of fraud. Now, some that initial coin offerings are said to be enmeshed in fraudulent schemes, as it were. And people are actually asking the question, how do we even determine if an ICO is true or false before investors begin to plunge in?
Well, an ICO is just one of the ways you could invest in crypto. One of the things I would typically look at before considering an ICO is to understand who the team is, what their project is about, and if there is some common sense value. If the view is that, yes, there is a common sense value in the project, or you specifically believe in what they may be trying to do, then yes, by all means, consider investing. And that's my personal approach. But if it's an ICO or something which is perhaps one of the other meme coins, we see a lot of meme coins, of course. There's a few out there right now, Shiba, Doji, Wakanda Inu is a new one which came out yesterday. These are coins which I would say, you could choose to do that, but there are perhaps no use cases. So you could choose to have some fun and put some money in it and become a millionaire in a year's time, as we saw with Shiba. But, you can't expect that the future will be dictated by things that have happened in the past. So again, looking at ICOs, look to see if there's common sense value, look to see if it's something you believe in, and then consider That's my personal approach. Just, don't throw money at it because it seems like a good idea, or perhaps everyone's doing it and you choose to get involved. Look at what the idea is about. Look at what they intend to achieve. Look at who the team is, what experience they have in this crypto space before considering putting your money, in, any ICO, I would say.
Of course, well, life is all about taking risks anyway, but then economics are actually warning that inflation may get worse in the months to come before decelerating next year. Now, what impact do you think cryptos will have really on this?
Well, I think for the way a lot of people see it is with inflation itself, which has been described as transitory by, Jerome Powell in the United States Fed. We don't know how long it's going to be with us, but one thing I do know is everyone's feeling the pinch. The value of goods will say, well, hey, if I have, for example, a few thousand naira and things are expensive, if I lock my thousands of nairas in Ethereum, for example, and holding at the level it is, I'll perhaps have more money to spend on goods and services which keep on going up. So crypto, I think, may actually bring may actually serve as an antidote to this. And that's not financial advice. That's just something that we see, and we think that a lot of people are thinking the same thing, and we feel that people will see crypto as a means, a safe haven to their local, just in Nigeria, but in different parts of the world.
Well, talking about crypto becoming a safe haven, you mentioned earlier that there should be some sort of regulation. And, you also talked about people looking out for red flags before they get to invest their money. But then if there are meant to be regulations, so to speak, just to make it a bit safe for investors and to ensure that investors are able to recoup, and of course to encourage other people to key into this new trend of making money and transacting business, what measures do you think should be put in place? What regulations do you think should come into place to help it make it a bit safer for people?
Well, I mean, the regulation is kind of two-pronged, right? So from the one perspective, there's a regulation that the apex banks would like to impose based on their local economy, centralized economies of a particular country. What's good for a country? What's good for Nigeria, for example? What's good for the Nigerian naira in terms of, the local economy, doing business with the external world? How do you maintain in a globalized world, in a diversified world? So that's one thing that you need to think about. How does cryptocurrency impact that? So that's a question that the central banks will certainly be asking wherever they may be. On the other hand, purely from an investment perspective, investment grade crypto, how do you advise? What kind of financial advisory should exist, and what kind of regulation would you put in place to protect the retail investor, or to protect the investor? So that's, investor protection is one thing. And there are a variety of ways and regulations which can be drawn up to meet that the demand for regulation, such that there's a level playing field which is fair, for everyone. By everyone, I mean local economies, countries, investors, retail investors, funds. So there's a lot of work that would need to be, because on the one hand, cryptocurrency acts as a currency in some form, a means of value, a means, to a value which can move from place to place very quickly. On the other hand, it could, how do you navigate your regulatory requirements around that? So there's a lot more questions at this point. Of course, there are what we know about investment grade, a number of things that we can do, protecting economies and their financial future and their currencies. But these are conversations that I would bankers and regulatory bodies. And if they're not having them, they ideally should, because as we mentioned earlier, crypto and the experts in the field. I don't just speak about myself, I speak about my colleagues across Nigeria, are all open to coming to the table, bankers, to find a way forward to regulate this space, to make sure there's something in it for everyone.
All right, Ola, finally now, well, some get rich quick could be hiding under Bitcoin and other cryptos. For instance, Bitcoin Era is asking people to open an account with 95,000 Naira. Now, the question is, are there actually firewalls to protect investors from being defrauded?
Well, so one of the things is at the moment, you could have a number of different exchanges, whether they're decentralized or centralized exchanges. On the one hand, you have an exchange, or say a body, it could be posing as an exchange, money, and do the following. How do you know that such an exchange is legit? This is one issue, of course. And then the other issue is, that you're putting your money in the right thing, and why spend up to 95,000 Naira? One of the things I normally spend any amount of your money that you don't want to. Do not take risks that you don't feel comfortable with. If all you can afford is 1,000 Naira, then that's all you can afford. If one exchange says that, then go to another exchange that'll accept your 1,000 Naira. But under no circumstance must anyone feel pressure to put, in any exchange, asset or whatever it is that you may be called. And another thing to look for is, where possible, look to see if exchanges are members of any trade bodies. KoinKoin is a member of Crypto UK, which is a trade association for cryptocurrency, blockchain companies in the United Kingdom. So our users, a sense of, at least within reason, a sense of confidence. And we're here to make sure that their money is safe. Okay. KoinKoin is not just currency custody platform.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ola. Really appreciate your presence on the program this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having.
All right. Well, there you have it. Cryptocurrencies are gaining grounds, but then Ola is saying that do not put your money in a risk that you are not sure you can actually hold on to or be able to navigate around it. But then if you must know something, there is a growing interest in crypto ecosystem and there are potential functionalities. Well, as more countries are providing support for the adoption of crypto assets, economists are saying there will be larger demand on crypto-driven assets and services in the coming years. So you want to ask yourself that question, would you want to invest? That is not for me to say, it's for you to decide. We'll quickly go on a short break, and when we return, it will be time for NC4 to watch. Do stay with us. And quickly taking you through NC4 to watch, let's tell you that fiscal and critical policy considerations are expected to be the order of the day when Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana delivers his first medium-term budget policy statement in Parliament today. The minister was appointed to the position in August. He will table the policy statement amid the country's gloomy and precarious economic position that was exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Beyond this, the country was this week experiencing its latest round of rolling power outages. Let's also tell you that Uganda has lost an estimated $720 million in missed gold exports since July this year as exporters boycott a new tax. In April, the government imposed a levy of 5% on every kilogram of refined gold and 10% on unprocessed gold for exports. The new requirement became operational in July, forcing gold exporters to hold back stock to protest the tax. Now, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has asked his French counterpart, President Emmanuel Macron, and French investors that the Nigerian economy remains bright with sustained investment in infrastructure. Buhari also said that Nigeria's economy favors global businesses and a friendly regulatory environment that supports foreign direct investments. And finally, Somalia government has issued an airspace certificate in the latest reforms aimed at streamlining the aviation industry, which has been moribund for over 4 decades following a civil war. For the better part of the 90s and into the new millennium, Somalia airspace has not been monitored by the aviation industries due to the lack of proper infrastructure and coordination by the UN-backed Somalia administration. And that's it on today's edition of Business Edge. Do not forget that you can visit our social media platforms. We are at New Central TV. Our website, www.newcentral.africa. It's also there for you to engage, and you can download our mobile app on App Store and Play Store. See you next time. I am Nico Onobanjo. Enjoy the rest of your day.